Just a small note about our meditation on breathing when we get there after Joys and Concerns. It's going to be new to most of us. Some of you know it already. It's done in 3 musical layers. We're going to start out with the foundation. Breathe
in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Then that's just going to continue as the melody comes in on top of that.
Breathe
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. After that goes on for a little while, the top part is going to join the other 2 parts. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. I encourage you to pick whichever part speaks to you and sing it along when it comes up, and just keep going. Thank you.
Welcome to Granite Peak UU congregation. I'm Bronwyn, your worship associate, and on this 75-degree sunny Sunday with 3-mile-per-hour winds, we gather. We extend a warm welcome to all of you. We are glad you're able to join us. This is the mission statement of our congregation. We are a compassionate spiritual community that celebrates diversity, nurtures the personal and spiritual growth of all ages, shares our gifts, promotes justice for all, and serves the world we live in. Please join us after for coffee and socializing in Davis Hall. And for those on Zoom, hello there. You may join the breakout rooms during that time at the end of the service. The National Institute on Aging states, everyone needs social connections to survive and thrive. If you are joining us for the first time, please check out our website at prescottuu.org for more information about us. And if you are here in person, there will be a time to introduce yourself at the end of the service. Please do so. Then stay and make some social connections. We thank our pianist, Lena Hubin, our choir director, Karen Denny, and our talented choir, of course, Martin Bromhall, our sound tech, and all other Sunday morning volunteers. Please take a moment to set your phones on worship mode, in addition to the announcements that we're showing on the screen before the service. You can read about other things that are happening at GPUUC in the weekly Peak newsletter on our website, and we have some printed copies of the announcements at the welcome table. Sandra Palacios, our faith development coordinator, is teaching ages 5 and up, along with Ainsley O'Donnell across the street at our Faith Development Building. We have a nursery available in this building, but no little ones at this time. So if you could help recruit 2, 3, and 4-year-olds, yeah, that'd be great. Robert Shegog is working on the MLK Peoples Day, or Indigenous, actually, I'm sorry. He's working on the Indigenous Peoples Day celebration. That will be October 14th, 10 to 4 p.m. He has other flyers to give to you. There will be live art performances, food raffles, vendors, and dances. And I believe this is sponsored by the Museum of Indigenous People. Peter Grady wishes to convey to all of you that the community forum on Prop 314 has been canceled this afternoon. We begin our service in the Unitarian Universalist by lighting the chalice. And our chalice lighter this morning is Stephanie Willison. Our chalice lighting words are by Jerlene Gordy, Navajo. Prayer is powerful. I have to put my glasses on. There we go. Prayer is powerful. In most Indigenous cultures, prayer involves all life and creation. We pray for the earth that sustains all life, water that nourishes our living things, the water that warms the home and keeps us safe, and the air that we breathe for life. Maintaining a connection to creation helps us be better stewards of the earth and reminds us that we are not the only living things.
These words of gathering, they can be found in the hymnal number 682. Beauty is before me, and beauty is behind me. Above me and below me hovers the beautiful. I am surrounded by it. I am immersed in it. In my youth, I am aware of it, and in my old age, I walk quietly the beautiful trail. In beauty, it is begun. In beauty, it is ended. Amen. Let's sing our opening hymn. Stand as you're able to do so for the beauty of the earth.
The skies, and us flies, so mighty light, oh, the distant sound and sigh, the night, silent stars of light. The child, thoughts at mine, thoughts about you, so
I invite you to join with me in saying our covenant. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and the service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve others in community. Thus do we covenant together. Joys and concerns.
Our beloved community is the heart of Granite Peak Unitarian Universalist Congregation. As we experience a time of meditation and music, we will take a few moments to silently acknowledge the joys and concerns of our hearts and our minds. If there is an event which moves you to a joy or concern, hope, or gratitude, I invite you to come forward silently and drop a pebble from the dish into our communal waters as an affirmation of our connection to one another. May all our joys and concerns surrounded by the healing community water of our beloved community be acknowledged here today. So may it be. That was beautiful. Thanks for trying so hard and making that a beautiful communal song now. As we prepare to take the offering this morning, let us embrace the feeling of connection and community that we have together here each week. Let us remember that this congregation and its programs are supported with your generosity. We also give back to the greater community through our Seeds of Support program, and this month's recipient is Neighborhood Outreach Christmas Giving. Thank you, Lena and other volunteers, for organizing this again. Please read about them in your order of service. To give online, the link is available in the chat, or you can go to the website. Please enjoy our offertory music performed by Lena Hubin. We acknowledge the generosity of spirit expressed through this offering. What is given in love is received in gratitude. Blessed be.
I am blessed by such wonderful choir and great piano music. Thank you so much. The reading this morning is by Chief Red Jacket of the Seneca Indians. He was invited to a meeting with a Christian missionary in 1805 And we have his reply to this Christian missionary. I'm only going to read a small part of it. Brother, you say there is but one way to worship and serve the Great Spirit. If there is but one religion, why do you white people differ so much about it? Why do you not all agree, as you can all read the same book? Brother, we do not understand these things. We are told that your religion was given to your forefathers and has been handed down from father to son. We also have a religion which was given to our forefathers and has been handed down to us, their children. We worship in that way. It teaches us to be thankful for all the favors we receive, to love each other, and to be united. We never quarrel about religion. Brother, we do not wish to destroy your religion or take it from you. We only want to enjoy our own. I visited Canyon de Chelly in northeastern Arizona a few years ago after attending the General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association in Phoenix. Having been born and raised in Arizona, I have a fascination for the culture of the Native American tribes throughout our state: the Pima, the Navajo, the Hopi, the Havasu, the Apache, and others. And I apologize for not always being able to pronounce their names when they change them to ones that are more appropriate. There are 21 Indian tribes in Arizona today. Canyon de Chelly was home for Navajo people before it was invaded by Colonel Kit Carson. In 1863, Kit Carson sent troops to either end of the canyon to capture or kill the Navajo population. In a forced march, what Navajos today call the Long Walk, 9,000 Native Americans were made to walk to a New Mexico fort where they were imprisoned in a reservation. At least 200 Navajos died during that 18-day, 450-mile walk. Every adult Navajo living today knows the story of the Long Walk. It is one of many stories of how settlers from Europe killed Native Americans and tried to destroy their culture. Still, all of it has not been destroyed. A few families still live in the canyon. One of the most beautiful places in the canyon is Spider Rock. It rises more than 800 feet from the floor of Canyon de Chelly National Monument. Now, according to Native American mythology, a goddess named Spider Woman was responsible for the stars in the sky. She took a web that she had spun, laced it with dew, and threw it into the sky, and the dew became the stars. At that time, there were monsters roaming the land and killing many Navajo. Since Spider Woman loved the Navajo, she gave power to Monster Slayer and Child Born of Water to search for the sun god who was their father. When they found him, when they found the sun god showed them how to destroy all the monsters on the land and in the water. Because she preserved their people, the Navajo established Spider Woman among their most important and honored deities. She chose the top of Spider Rock for her home. Spider Woman instructed the Navajo women on how to weave on a loom, and through many generations, the Navajos became accomplished weavers. From their elders, Navajo children heard warnings that if they did not behave themselves, Spider Woman would let down her web ladder and carry them up to her home and devour them. The children also heard that the top of Spider Rock was white from the sun-bleached bones of Navajo children who did not behave themselves. But in another story, one day a peaceful Navajo youth was hunting in a branch of Canyon de Chelly. Suddenly he saw an enemy tribesman who chased him deeper into the canyon. As this peaceful Navajo boy ran, he looked quickly from side to side, searching for a place to hide or a place to escape. Directly in front of him stood the giant Spider Rock. Well, what could he do? He knew it was too difficult for him to climb. He was near exhaustion. But suddenly, before his eyes, he saw a silken cord hang down from the top of the rock tower. The youth grasped the magic cord, which seemed strong enough, and quickly he tied it around his waist. With its help, he climbed the tall tower, escaping from the enemy tribesmen, and the tribesmen gave up the chase. When the boy reached the top, he stretched out to rest. There he discovered a most pleasant place with eagle eggs to eat and the night's dew to drink. He was surprised to learn that his rescuer was Spider Woman. She told him how she had seen him and his predicament. She showed him how she made her strong web cord and anchored one end of it to a point of the rock. She showed him how she let the rest down to help him climb the rugged Spider Rock. Later, when the Navajo youth felt assured that his enemy was gone, he thanked Spider Woman warmly, and he safely descended to the canyon floor using her magic rope. He ran home as fast as he could run and reported to his tribe how his life had been saved by Spider Woman. Well, my visit to northeastern Arizona inspired me to look again at the spiritual beliefs of the first people to live on this continent. In the late 19th century, indigenous religious traditions were effectively outlawed through acts such as the 1883 Indian Religious Crimes Code, which prohibited the practice of indigenous religious traditions and made it a crime to lead or even attend a ceremony. In 1978, Congress passed the American Indian Religious Freedom Act, intended to remedy this long history of federal policies explicitly targeting indigenous religions, languages, and cultures. This has led to a small renaissance of Native American religion. Now, of course, Native Americans do not practice a single uniform religion throughout North America. A rich diversity exists among the different Indian nations. Furthermore, a large variation exists within each group and over time. At the same time, amidst this remarkable diversity, there are still core values, shared experiences, and ways of seeing the world that shape the contours of Native North America. While the European American religion focuses on a monotheistic God, Native Americans emphasize an abundance of many spirits. Several spirits control the atmospheric powers. Many spirits influence human life on Earth. Some spirits, including Mother Earth, roam the underworld. Often Native Americans conceive of these spirits, or most of them, as tied to a supreme being, usually the sky god, who supervises or takes on the functions of various spiritual powers. In the words of Black Elk, of the Lakota Indians, we should understand well that all things are the works of the Great Spirit. We should know that the Great Spirit is within all things, the trees, the grasses, the rivers, the mountains, and all the four-legged animals, and the winged peoples. Because the world is spiritually alive, it is difficult to distinguish between the natural and the supernatural. That's more of a European distinction. Instead, indigenous spirituality suggests a world filled with spirit. There's no clear line between the sacred and the profane, between the natural and the supernatural, between spirit and matter. The spiritual world infuses the material world, and the heart of spiritual life is the negotiation and affirmation of relationships with that living world, ancestors, plants, animals, forces of nature, and the Creator. Now, Native Americans usually divide the universe into levels. There's heaven, earth, and the underworld. These various worlds are often united through a world tree. The world tree has its roots in the underworld, stretches through the world of humans and animals, and has its crown in the sky world. Ritual structures, such as the Sundance Post, represent that world tree. Native Americans mark the 3 levels of the universe on the Sundance Post. The eagle at the top manifests the sky world. The buffalo skull on the trunk is the world of animals and humans. And the offerings of tobacco and water on the earth close to the base symbolize the relations to the underworld. According to Native American myths of origin, in the beginning, the Supreme Being created all beings on earth, essentially human, like us. However, a change took place that turned many of these first creatures into animals and into birds. Only those who today are human beings retain their original forms. Because of this genesis, a close relationship still exists between people and animals. Indians do not make a strong distinction between humans and animals. One Native American said, "Our task is to be stewards of nature. It looks like we're worshiping everything in nature, that we're nature worshipers, but we're not. We acknowledge a plant, a tree, a salmon, an animal, for giving its life so that we may live." Now, a stereotype of Native American people is that spiritually they are all living at one with the animals. Well, this burdens Indigenous people with an unrealistic expectation that they always live in harmony with nature. In truth, Indigenous traditions show how challenging it is to live in balance with the natural world. It's hard work. An American Native American professor, says he tried to dissuade his students from the romantic notions about Indians being close to nature and instead instill the students with a sense of the hard work that can come from maintaining healthy spiritual relationships with the plants, the animals, the earth, and other human beings. The bonds between animals and humans can be expressed in ceremonial dress. In Native American religion, the feathers suggest a spiritual power. This bond is also expressed in traditional dances, when dances imitate the movements of the buffalo wearing their horns and skins. These are acts in which Indians, by imitating the wild, express their desires and expectations. Such a ritual tells us of the Indians' veneration for the active powers of animals in the universe. The ceremonial dances are for them a kind of prayer. A part of Native Americans' close kinship to animals is the idea of spirits as animals. Dreams and visions have strength and perpetuate the belief in animal spirits. For example, in dreams, some bears can talk or change forms. Such bears are considered mysterious spirits. A stereotype of Native people is that spirituality, they all live at one with the animals, But as I said, this burdens the indigenous people with an expectation that they always live in harmony with nature. Should they fail to live up to this expectation of the Euro-Americans, they are criticized for not being in harmony with nature. In truth, indigenous traditions again show how challenging it is to live in balance with the natural world. This is no biological, you're not born Native American able to live in harmony with the earth, or ethnically inborn trait. You have to learn it. It's hard work. Part of the affirmation of relationships with the living world is the respect and concern for elders. I really like this part as an elder. In contrast to the way the dominant North American culture often regards its elders, becoming an elder in Native communities is something to look forward to, an honored position. Honoring elders requires hard work, the disciplined labor of moral teaching, and the recognition of the authority of elders through practices of deferring to the older people. Good idea. Objects of nature, such as mountains, can also be powerful spirits. The world of the Navajo, for example, is situated among 4 sacred mountains that enclose the central country of the Navajo people. From indigenous perspectives, all land is sacred because all land is alive. The earth is understood to be alive. In the northwest is Big Mountain Sheep at 13,237 feet. It is the highest summit of the La Plata mountain range in Colorado. White Shell Mountain is in the northeast. The Blue Bead Mountain, sometimes translated as Turquoise Mountain, is in the southeast. And the mountains we're most familiar with, the Sunset Mountains or the San Francisco Peaks, are in the southwest. I took my first photograph of the San Francisco Peaks when I was 12 years old, having camped in the area and seen the mountains rising over the mesas. I felt the special power they hold, even as a child. My life is immersed in rational, Unitarian, Universalist religious thought. Therefore, Native American spirituality, with its stories, its dances, its costumes, well, it all feels strange to my logical Unitarian Universalist mind. Still, I am attracted to this spirituality. What I like best about it is that Native Americans teach that even in the vast spaces of the Southwest, we are never alone. We are always part of a community that includes our family, our friends, our ancestors, the animals, the trees, the mountains, and the spirits. Now, a Mohawk woman told a story about being approached by members of a New Age spiritual foundation. They introduced themselves, they described their various spiritual pursuits, and requested that this Mohawk woman facilitate their participation in some kind of American Indian spiritual ceremony. So the Mohawk woman said, "This is what you do. First, prepare a feast. Cook up lots and lots of food. As you're cooking it, think about the people that you'll be inviting. Think about their lives and about your own life. Think about the ingredients also, where they come from, and who helped bring them to you. Everybody that comes, feed them. And you listen to them. You pay attention to their advice, their problems. Hold their hands if that's what they need. If any of them needs to stay over at your home, make a place for them. Then next month, do the same thing again and again, 4 times in the same way. That's it. You've done an Indian spiritual ceremony. In other words, indigenous religious traditions are about service to family and community. Indigenous spirituality is an expression of one's family and community and ultimately belongs to that collective. We cannot experience an Indian spirituality by observing Indians in a ceremony, standing back and watching. We experience it by becoming a member of a community that is enacting the ceremony. If our lives lack spiritual depth, the answer is to become part of a community. For nearly 5,000 years, people have lived in Canyon de Chelly. Despite the massacres in 1863 by Kit Carson, and despite the years of drought, today a few Navajo families continue to raise livestock, to farm lands, and live in the canyon. Canyon de Chelly is unique among national parks and monuments because it is owned by the Navajo Nation. Visitors are allowed to travel in the canyon only when accompanied by a park ranger or an authorized Navajo guide. For hundreds of years, Native Americans have told stories about the goddess named Spider Woman, who lives at the top of Spider Walk. Spider Woman is the creator of the world in Native American religions and myths. She was responsible for the stars in the sky. She took a web she had spun, laced it with dew, threw it into the sky, and the dew became the stars. So what is Native American spirituality? It is a rich mythology of stories about being connected to our family and friends, to our ancestors, to the sun, to the moon, to the planets, and to the stars. It is what the modern world has lost in our cities, our gadgets, our machines. It is the missing ingredient. In our anger and our superstitions, our alienation, our fragmentation, our competitiveness, we are the savages. Let us remember again that we are connected to the mountains, to the rivers, to the streams, to the plants, to the animals, and to each other. Let's sing our closing hymn. For all that is our life.
For all that is alive, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our old days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and live reward, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For for all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise, for our life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Are there any visitors here for the first time, or perhaps after a long period? Please stand and introduce yourselves. If you'd like to introduce yourself, oh, great. You're the ones. There might be more. Give everybody a chance. So welcome to Prescott. And we have someone in the back who I know. Say it as loud as you can. Colette. She's back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So nice to see your face again. Thank you. Oh, yes. Oh, hello.
I'm Chris Hopper, and new to Prescott, so this is my first time here. We were members of the Unity Temple in Oak Park, so we're not strangers to UU.
Fellow UUs.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming. And welcome. Hope you'll come again soon. Tracy would like to make whoops.
I'd just like to thank all our Puff.
Yeah, Tracy's coming up to the mic to do just that.
Yes. Thank you, Bronwyn. You probably noticed that we have our friends from Prescott UU Fellowship here. We're thrilled to have you all. And they did a better job of wearing their Empty Bowls volunteer shirts than we did. But we are having a little celebration and a thank you to all the volunteers who made Empty Bowls successful. In Davis Hall, there's lots of desserts. There's a chance for all the volunteers to get a raffle ticket. We've got some prizes to give away. We have a table of some free things, and then we have plenty of bowls for sale, and all the proceeds go to the food banks. But most especially, thank you to all the folks from Puff who brought food too and came to join us today.
Well, I wanted to do the closing words at this time. Shirlene Goerty, a member of the Navajo clan, once again speaks on one who walks around, born into the Salt people, states, "A word we live by is hojo. Hojo is a small word with a significant meaning. It roughly translates to balance, peace, harmony. These things are difficult to obtain and maintain in one's life. Morning prayer practice can be a way to live into Hojo. Start your day new with positive thoughts. Clear your mind of the things you do not want to take into a new day. For those on Zoom, you may join your breakout rooms. And thanks again to all of you for joining us on Zoom and you in the audience. Choir, thank you.